Welcome to Module 3.4 called the Water Park. Today we're going to be looking at two functions and finding features of them and comparing and contrasting. So today's lesson is talking about two friends who work at a water park, Allie and Dane, and they each work in two different rides, and they have to drain the water at the end of each month for the ride that they supervise. So each uses a pump to remove the water from the small pool at the bottom of their ride, sort of like a water slide. And so the graph below represents the amount of water in Allie's pool, which is A of X. That's the one that I've highlighted in this orangish pink color. And then the other pool, Dane's pool, is D of X. That's the one I've highlighted in this blue color. So the first question on the formative says, looking at these two lines on this graph, make as many observations as possible with the information given. So I think it asks you to make 3 observations. So think about all of the things that we've learned when we look at a graph. What information do you know? And write 3 of those things in the formative for number 1. Question number 2 says, okay, so now just looking at Dane, so just focusing at the blue graph, this one that I've highlighted in blue, can you write the equation to represent that line? So think about a start value. Where does his start value, how much water does he start with? And then you're going to have to work a little bit, do some math to figure out how many gallons he pumps per minute. And you can say, well, it started with, what did it start with? And how long did it take to empty? And then you would divide those two. So to find your slope, it's rise over run. And so for this graph, I'm just going to make one huge gigantic triangle. My rise and my run. So it looks like in this triangle, the height of my rise is 24,000. And my run is 24 minutes. So that must mean that my slope equals 1,000 gallons per minute. All right, so write your equation. If this is your slope, that's the number that gets the X. Also, it's decreasing, so that should be a minus 1,000. And then your start value. How many gallons did Dane start with? So that's 24,000 is the start value, minus 1,000 gallons every minute. All right, the next question is, what is the domain of Dane's graph? So remember, domain is your width. So I'm going to find the leftmost point in my graph, and it looks like 0 minutes is the first number in my domain. And I'm going to find the rightmost point in my graph for Dane, and that's 24 minutes. And since both of those points are closed, they both get brackets at the beginning and the end. And then question number 4 asks you to find the range, which is the height. So to do that, I find the lowest possible amount, and that's the pool will be empty. We'll have 0 gallons in it. And then I find the highest possible amount, and this is for Dane, not Allie. And so he will have a maximum of 24,000 gallons. Again, both are closed dots, so they both get brackets. Question number 5 is asking, looking at these two lines, when will A of X, the orange line, be the same as D of X, the blue line? When will they both be the same? And what they're looking for that is an ordered pair. So at what point in the graph will the water, the same minute and the same amount of water be in both rides at the same time? And what I just explained is number 6. What does that mean where they equal each other? Then this one, number 7, says find A of 5. So if you remember in Module 2 when we talked about function notation, the number that's inside the parentheses, this is an x value. So a of 5 is asking for what is the y value when x is 5. So you're going to find 5 on the x-axis, and you're going to figure out which y value corresponds to the x value of 5, and you're looking at Dane's graph, so the blue one. And then 8 is asking, now that you found that point on the graph, what does it mean in the story? And that, my friends, is Module 3.4.